As an admittedly picky action figure collector, what lines do I collect? It ain't Barbie. Wrong scale, and no real articulation. Well, hello there everybody, I'm Photo Dave and this is Toypixx, and whether this is your first or 100th time on the channel, Toypixx is all about helping you and helping me get a whole lot better at our action figure photography. So, if that sounds cool to you, go ahead and click that subscribe button while I describe exactly what I'm talking about in this video. First things first, I'm going to go over a few things that I prioritize when it comes to which action figure lines I go for, and then I'm just gonna lay it all out there and tell you all about the lines that I in fact do collect. So without further ado, let's get this train rolling. Do trains roll? I'm so confused. Alright, when we're talking about prioritizing which lines to collect, here we go. The first thing I really think about is the figure going to look good under the lights and in front of the lens? If the vast majority of figures in a line are going to fulfill that criteria, I'm probably in. The next one is articulation. Is this thing going to be able to move? Am I going to be able to get it into ridiculously cool poses that, really, let's be honest, only superheroes can really get into? Because you're not going to expect that kind of thing out of realistic type figures. But hey, if my Spider-Man can't do Spidey things, it's no good to me. And then there's the character itself. It needs to be a character I know. That helps me keep the spending from getting insane, because I do a thing every weekend at 11:30 called Photogenic Figures, where I talk about figures that I see that have been announced that I think are going to look good under the lights and in front of the lens and all that good stuff. And truly, I would probably buy the vast majority of them, but there's budget and space, so I have to keep the rule in there of I have to know who the character is. Now, these kind of criteria, you'll kind of get an understanding of them if you check out the 7 rules video that I recently posted. I'll make sure and put that at the end of this video so you can check out what's going on. But those are the 3 real big-time criteria that I use when it comes to whether or not I'm going to go all in on a line. And let's be honest, most lines, nobody's going to go all in on because there's duds everywhere, but there's also some really sweet stuff out there. The first line I collect is a line that I wouldn't even say I've been able to get in on just yet, but it's one I'm really looking forward to, and that is the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mirage Studios line. Now, recently I canceled Renette because she's not the right colors, and I'm just not playing that game anymore. But I can't wait for them to announce when they're gonna put up pre-orders for the Utrons, for Casey Jones, for, maybe some Turtles. I have Fugitoid, and he's fine, but I still feel like he doesn't represent what NECA can really do with this line. I wish that NECA had put out kind of more of a standard release for their first figure. I'm not holding it against them. Everybody gambles, and sometimes the gamble pays off, and for a lot of you, maybe the gamble paid off wonderfully. For me, I just wish he were a little more of a standard figure, because while a lot of people are getting kind of burned out on having to wait for G.I. Joe classified orders and all that, I'm not there. But I am getting less and less excited about NECA's Mirage Studios stuff, so I want it to start popping up. I need some in my hands. Next up is a line that's kind of in the same boat as those NECA Mirage Turtles, but one that I'm really excited for because the only figure I've got from it is still my figure of the year, and that is the 3-0 Transformers MDLX line. Whew! It takes a lot out of you remembering all that stuff. Right now, the Bumblebee that I have from that line is my figure of the year, and I am super stoked to get that Optimus Prime. I need him. I need him in my hands, because they have really got me fired up. I love Transformers. I just haven't been a big fan of what Hasbro's done the last several years. But man, if 3-0 can start knocking these out, I'm going to pick these up, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to find cars that are going to match up with all the figures that they release. That's right. I am that sick. And now, sadly, a line that it looks like I'm going to have to backtrack to get everything I want out of it, and that is the SH Figuarts Star Wars line. I look back at those figures and I see absolute perfection that a company like Hasbro is just not able to create or capture with their Black Series. Now, those are far cheaper figures, and I understand, and as an outlier, I do get some of the Hasbro Black Series troop builders, but when you're talking main characters, I look at SHF and I'm just like, man, those things are so pretty! I need them! I have the releases from this year, which are Boba Fett, the Mandalorian Din Djarin with Grogu, and the Luke Skywalker. Luke is near perfect aside from the cape. The problem is he's labeled as the Mandalorian Luke when he's clearly the Return of the Jedi Luke, but that face print, beautiful. As far as Mando and Boba, with Boba, they got the cross-eyed thing going, just doesn't work out that well. Had they just not done that, he'd be about a perfect figure. And then when it comes to Mando, I've said many times I make several concessions to make it so I really like that guy. I had to get a longer neck peg from John Walker Customs. I had to just accept that the spear doesn't work and the rifle doesn't work well, but that's okay because, hey, they're not in the show anymore. So if I keep all those things in mind, he's a really great figure. But they are still good enough to have me really, really wanting to backtrack to get me some more SHF Star Wars because, hey, I'm picky. Those figures, they look darn near perfect. And now, you've seen the pictures, you know I talk about them quite a bit, ladies and gentlemen. The fourth line that I collect is G.I. Joe Classified. Now, I don't get them all, because the first Storm Shadow was a Storm Shadow that couldn't do ninja things. I'm not into red and blue ninjas. I thought the Cobra Commander wasn't a very great figure. Baroness doesn't have double-jointed elbows. You know, there's a lot of reasons. Gung-Ho, very boring. Scarlet, no double-jointed elbows. These were figures that, believe it or not, I had for the most part and just decided they're just not good enough. So, they went. They went goodbye. But the majority of the line is just incredible. My favorite troop builders in the collection are the Cobra Troopers from the Target Cobra Island exclusive stuff. Those things are just scary. Those goggles make all the difference. They just make them very scary figures, which, in my head anyway, is what Cobra should be all about. But these figures overall are just so good, especially for a mass-produced Hasbro line. There are things I wish they did more of. I wish they had more extra heads. I definitely wish they had more extra hands, and hopefully Hasbro will get there. Really, really hopefully Hasbro will get there. But as is, I'm really impressed with these things. They look great. They've got insane texture. They just look really good in front of the lens. And I may be a little more biased and a little more stoked right now because I'm finally getting all the shipping notifications saying, hey man, these things are either going to be here any day or they'll be there by Thursday. That's right. I'm going to get a Cobra Officer on Thursday. Based, of course, on that Cobra Trooper. I'm pretty stoked, and I really dig this line. And now the line that everyone who's been watching this channel for quite a while knew was coming. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the Moffex comic figures line. Now, not all of them, again, and from time to time I get some that aren't perfect, but hey, even though Psylocke's not perfect, she's pretty close. She just needs a slightly bigger head, I feel like. But these comic figures are just so good. They are everything I want every action figure to be. They come with plenty of heads, they come with plenty of hands, they have massively crazy articulation, they look great under the lights and in front of the lens. That's a phrase I might have to trademark. I don't know, we'll see. I'm crazy like that. I'm not going to trademark that. But there's just nothing bad I can say about these figures. I am not riddled with all the QC issues that apparently used to happen with them. I have far too many of them on pre-order, and I've said in the past, if I had to give up every other collection I've got, Moffex is the one line I would hold on to. And I know it's kind of disingenuous to say the one line. I am getting just comic figures that aren't kind of Elseworld stuff. So even though I see the Dark Knight Returns figures and think they look incredible, I'm just getting the Hush stuff. But then, I'm even breaking that down more. Hush, he really wasn't around too long, so I don't need him. And then there's the Marvel figures. Ben Reilly. Looks like a great figure. I never really have any kind of, or got any kind of attachment to Ben Reilly, so I don't need him. But man, I've got like 3 Spider-Mans on pre-order, I've got Iron Man on pre-order, I've got Storm, Thor, Magneto. It's crazy how much I'm digging the Moffex line, and from time to time I still look at the collection and think, yep, if there were one line, above all, to destroy the rest, it would be the Moffex. I'd like to address the Outliers. Yes, friends, even though they fell outside of my rule parameters and all that other stuff, I wanted to test out a few figures just to see what I think of those lines. And the next 2 lines, I'm going to go all in when I have the unlimited funds, when I have the unlimited space, when Toypixx crushes it. Those lines are Action Force and the Plunderlings. I got Duster recently from Action Force. That is, without a doubt, everything I wish G.I. Joe was. What G.I. Joe has over Action Force, and even Bobby Bala would agree with this, is nostalgia. We grew up with G.I. Joe, therefore it's planted in our brains a little more, but Action Force figures, they really work well. The one suggestion I would have, or the one thing that it doesn't do quite as well as Classified, is it doesn't have the lower neck movement. So you can't get quite as many dynamic, I guess, poses, yep, that's right, for the head. So it can't do quite as much as you could say get from a Snake Eyes figure. That said, it comes with so many hands, like Duster has a couple heads, comes with accessories that you wouldn't even believe. You can change out the flaps on the guy's helmet. I mean, this thing's ridiculous. And once again, as I said, once I've got the unlimited funds and the unlimited space, I'm going nuts with Action Force. You better believe I'll be army building the crap out of those dudes. And then there's the Plunderlings. I say I don't go all in on most lines, and I really don't. Plunderlings, I would be very tempted to just go all in, get them all. They're adorable, they're hilarious, you can just plant them all over the house and just freak people out. I can't get enough of how crazy just fun those things are, and I gotta say, hey, these are toys, they're supposed to be fun, right? And Plunderlings, they look good in front of the lens, they look good under the lights, and it just doesn't get much more fun than those little crazy things. I tried to say that without swearing. I succeeded. Although I think swearing there probably would have gotten the point across better. In fact, I just don't see many figures having much more fun than those crazy little bats. And that, folks, is that. Comment below, let me know how picky of a collector you think you are. And even more than that, comment below with which lines you collect because you're a picky collector. And even more than that, because I'm trying to flirt with death when it comes to Mr. Stabbing My Wallet, let me know which lines you think I should be collecting because I'm a picky collector. Yeah. That sounds like a good idea. As always, I'll be leaving links in the video description below. Remember, Amazon affiliate links, if you click on those, even if you don't buy what the link leads you to directly, if you stay on and shop on Amazon, that helps out the channel. I certainly appreciate that. The links I'm going to leave today, though, are going to be all the figures that appear in my collection, as well as today's surprise ridiculous thingy, which I did get on Amazon and find because apparently I guess I'm bored. I don't know, but hey, it should give you a bit of a chuckle, in theory. As far as everything else, thank you for sticking around. Thanks for watching. It's hugely appreciated. I'm up to 250 subscribers, which means I only have 750 more to go before 1,000, which unlocks a whole lot of cool things I can do with YouTube. So, really pushing for that. So please remember to like, comment, share, especially if you want to help me get up to that 1,000. And as always, everybody have fun and happy snapping. See ya.